When we were kids, art class made it seem like some people were artistic and then some people just weren't. And I think we carried that belief through adulthood without really questioning it. But there's so many different types of art styles. So I'm challenging myself to do 30 different art styles in 30 days to see which one fits me best. And for day one, I'm starting with this Scarab. The first attempt of this Scarab was horrendous. I was using the wrong pencils and I was also using the wrong paper. And I nearly convinced myself these colored pencils are not for me. So I decided to try again with different colored pencils from Faber-Castell. But still, the patchiness was happening again. So I decided to use watercolors to fill in the holes because I wasn't giving up this time. And I used a white gel pen to make the Scarab come alive. And that's why I'm doing this whole series, to understand which type of art I prefer and that suits me, because I don't think you have to be naturally good at it to enjoy it. If you've ever felt bad at art, maybe you were just taught the wrong one as a kid. When I was a teenager, I would never show my drawings because I was afraid of what people would think because it wasn't perfect. And I think this type of perfectionism is something that I've been trying to break away from for the past couple of years. So for day 2 of this 30-day challenge, I decided to paint something that was definitely out of my comfort zone. I wanted to paint something from my favorite TV show called Andor, but this means painting a landscape, which I have no experience in. I actually tried to do this before filming because I was so insecure about how I was gonna do, and the first version I really loved. When I decided to paint it the second time, I rushed it. I didn't have this discovery where I was trying to do different layers. I tried to recreate something that I had learned by accident. This challenge is already teaching me that this messy experimental first try is often the one with most soul, except for the Scarab, who had no soul at all. And if art has rules, I'm trying to break them. Now, which version do you prefer? The first or the second? Some art styles look simple until you actually try them. So for day 3 of my 30-day art challenge, I tried a black and white style that I had never seen before, but I have been obsessed with. It's inspired by an artist that's called Roberto Bofo. She's insanely talented, and yes, you should follow her. She uses a dry brush to create these soft textured foundations and then adds tiny alien-looking symbols over the top. I love sci-fi, and her art looks like you would find it on futuristic ships. But wow, this was much harder than I expected. The dry brushing was really hard to control. I never knew what to fill and what to leave blank. So I panicked and left nothing blank. In the end, it has that weird alien vibe, which I love, like the movie Arrival. It feels like a message from another world. And that's the whole point of the challenge. Trying different art styles that I've never touched before, just to see what fits me. And I think I would definitely do this one again, once my hand recovers. I love art styles that don't judge you for not being able to draw perfectly. This is day 4 of my 30-day art challenge, and today we're doing a Matisse-inspired collage. Later in his life, after a major illness, Matisse couldn't paint like he used to, so he started painting with scissors instead. And honestly, it's a very accessible way to make art. I know Matisse uses birds for his art, but I decided to make swifts because every morning in Barcelona, I would see the swifts do their little circle dance, and it would really calm me down. I painted one piece of paper in different types of colors and thought I'd organize everything neatly, but this style has a mind of its own. I kept cutting, placing, rearranging, doubting, and then changing my mind again. And somehow, all those tiny shapes on the paper turned into something that really feels like that memory. If you've ever feel intimidated by drawing, try this style. You don't need straight lines, you don't even need a plan, just colors, scissors, and a moment you want to capture. I don't know who needs to hear this before they do it, but dot art looks really relaxing until you try it. For day 5 of my 30-day art challenge, I wanted to try a Dune-inspired piece. Dune is my fiance's favorite movie, and Denis Villeneuve is our favorite director, so I wanted to create a little piece for him. The weirdest part about this art style is that it starts with nearly almost nothing. Just a few faint dotted lines that look like they won't turn into anything. And then you start adding dots, and shading in this style is literally more dots when it's darker, fewer when it's lighter. It sounds simple, but it's so painful on the wrist. I use multiple different micro pen sizes. I would use the thicker ones for all the shadow and all the darker parts, and the thinner ones for the lighter parts. And the part I love is how it slowly starts appearing more and more. You don't really notice it coming together until you look back and realize it's basically done. I love the outcome of this. Watercolor looks quite easy until the water decided it has its own personality. For day 6 of this 30-day challenge, I wanted to paint a moment that I think I'll never forget, which is swimming with manta rays with my partner. Manta rays are huge. They're really calm, they're beautiful, and the first time one swam underneath me, it literally took my breath away. Although technically I was underwater, so I was not breathing anyway. I had no idea what I was doing with watercolor, so I decided to watch a couple of tutorials, and apparently the secret is layering. I started with the light wash, and then I added another layer, then another, just trying to get the colors to move in the right direction. Watercolor feels like one of those mediums that does whatever it wants. You can guide it, but you can't fully control it. And honestly, I kind of love that. This piece took a while to build up, but watching the manta ray slowly appear was really satisfying. And I feel like watercolor is very forgiving. And any forgiving art medium is my type of medium. I think I found the adult version of doing puzzles, but in an artistic way. For day 7 of my 30-day challenge, I tried a style inspired by Thornhill. He's a British artist whose work mixes Bauhaus, brutalism, Scandinavian design, and mid-century modern vibes. It's so clean and satisfying, I wanted to try it myself. And no surprise, mine isn't as perfect as his, but making it was honestly such a joy. It felt like doing puzzles as a kid, but without having this pressure of fitting the right puzzle piece into the right space. I'd honestly love to hang one of his huge pieces in my future house one day. This part of moving shapes around until it finally clicks is basically therapy for me. This piece really made me realize that I enjoy anything that involves placing things around or figuring out the best location for a piece. I love building layers, making structure out of chaos. This felt very much like me. If you've ever used Notion before, you will know how fun it is to be able to customize literally everything, including your avatars or the little characters. For day 8 of this 30-day art challenge, I decided to try and make a Notion-style portrait of my fiance, my dog, and the first flat that we ever lived in together. And immediately I realized this is not my natural style. I'm not really great at proportions, facial features, cartoons, or getting things to look right. My brain wants to make everything a little bit abstract. But I did love the part when I got to use these black pens. I don't know why, I think there's something so satisfying about committing to the line and just going for it. Trying to capture my partner and our dog in such simple shapes was weirdly stressful, but the memory behind it made it worth finishing. Even if it's not my thing, I was really happy to bring this memory to life. You know those techniques that you sometimes see online and you think, okay, I really need to try this one day? Well, this was mine. For day 9 of my 30-day challenge, I tried this sliding paint technique, inspired by Allison Winteroth. And honestly, this was the most fun I had in days. What you do is that you put a little bit of paint at the top, you grab a tool and you slide it down the page. Then you go left, right, left, whichever direction you want to take. And the colors blend in this chaotic but beautiful way. There are no straight lines, no proportions, no pressure to make anything look like anything. If you mess up, it just becomes part of the artwork. And after doing so many precise styles, it really felt like a full body exhale. I even made 2 pieces because I enjoyed it so much. This is the kind of art that reminds me why I'm doing this challenge. It's playful, it's messy, but it kind of lets you breathe and enjoy the moment. If you ever need a pressure-free creative art style, this is the one. It's almost impossible not to have fun. Have you ever tried to raise the sun? Because I had about 3 minutes to capture this light before it changed completely. For day 10 of the 30-day challenge, I tried to paint the shadow of a plant that hit my wall at this exact moment of the day. I had already missed it the day before, so this time I had to be really fast. I learned the hard way, but I think the order of the colors matter. And I feel like I did it the opposite way around. There were no tutorials and the guessing part came along the way. And as I didn't want to do multiple tries like I did in my day 2, I wanted to stick to this one. And I feel like it maybe isn't as good as it could have been. This style is actually way more precise than it seems. This was a super interesting experiment and I learned a lot about layering and guessing. I would love to have your feedback from painters out there. If you could tell me what went wrong, what went right, what I should have done, I would really love to hear it from you because I have no idea. But I'm really glad I tried it because not everything I make needs to be perfect. This is another one of those styles that looks easy when you see people do it and is really difficult to get right. For day 11 of my 30-day challenge, I tried this flowy ombre brush stroke style inspired by Liz M. Clark. The first step is creating this smooth gradient in the background with different colors that are softly blended, and I decided to go for a retro type of color palette because I felt like it. Then, when you're done, there comes a a single sweeping brush stroke that goes along the piece that's supposed to look like one continuous flow. Except I was doing it on a tiny postcard instead of a huge canvas, so any small wobble became extremely obvious. This shit is much harder than it looks. I added some textures on top like she does to also make it less of a perfect swoosh, and it kind of felt more like chaotic and more like me. So I've used soft pastels before, but only to color my clay figurines. So I had no idea how it would work on paper. For day 12, I wanted to turn a photo of some clouds that I took from my balcony into a pastel landscape. And I'll be honest, I have no idea how to draw or paint clouds. And for this piece, I just went with what I felt was right. I didn't watch any tutorials, which maybe I should have done, but I just wanted to go with the flow on this one. I feel like I went with the wrong color at the bottom, and I had to go back and fix it with a different layer. I tried to recreate the light hitting the clouds from underneath, but it looked a little bit more abstract than realistic, which should be the title of most of my art. It's definitely not the world's most accurate cloud study, but I really enjoyed working with soft pastels and the different textures and the colors. This made me really want to learn how to paint clouds one day, not just improvise and base it off of vibes. For day 13 of my 30-day art challenge, I tried to do one of these optical illusion pieces that are so satisfying to watch when you watch them online, and such a pain to make in real life. It's inspired by Enzo Prina. His work is insane. So I knew this wasn't going to be easy, but wow. But once you place your 50th piece of masking tape, everything starts blending together. I ended up taping the wrong areas, and then when I started taking the masking tape off, I saw that it had seeped through underneath, which I definitely blame the paper that I was using for, once again. But I think this might have been a mix of the watercolor paper and the bad masking tape that I was using, and maybe bad craftsmanship. And even though it turned out a little bit rough around the edges, if you look from far away, it looks alright. Even though it didn't turn out how I imagined it, I still love the idea behind this technique. It's bold, it's graphic, and when it works, it looks incredible. And hats off to Enzo for pulling this off every single time. This piece once again taught me that the materials that you use really matter. This piece really tested my patience. For day 14 of this 30-day art challenge, I wanted to try something with lettering and clean geometrical shapes. And honestly, I don't know why I chose one of the most precise styles possible, with a paintbrush. This piece was inspired by a trip to Morocco. The architecture, the colors, the place, everything there is just so beautiful to look at. Our tour guide Hussein kept on saying yalla, yalla, and he kept on saying habibi. One of them is let's go, the other one is my love. And I wanted to capture this memory in this piece of art. But this style is pure precision hell. It took me over an hour just to draw the squares because I kept getting it wrong, and I still managed to get it wrong. When I started painting, I wasn't able to get the lines crisp in the way that I wanted to, and it might be the paper's fault once again, but it could also be my shaky hands. Luckily, I had some acrylic pens and I really felt like they saved the day. And it's definitely not the easiest thing I've ever done, but I love that it reminds me of that trip and of Hussein, which we still message every couple of months. I'm sure you've heard about embroidery, but have you heard of embroidery on paper? For day 15 of my 30-day art challenge, I wanted to try something completely different. Embroidery on paper. Yes, paper. And honestly, this might be the most satisfying style I've tried yet. I followed a DIY tutorial from this Brazilian textile artist called Linas Passadas. She's unreal, and I've not seen many people do this specific technique. You basically punch tiny holes in the card, then run embroidery thread through them in different zigzag patterns. And once you get into the rhythm, it's like your brain clicks and you get into this weird trance. This is way closer to the kind of craft I enjoy. Textiles, threads, textures. It's where I feel most at home creatively. I think this is such a cool idea for a birthday card or a postcard. It feels really personal and handmade without being too complicated. Sometimes in life you discover that some things are just not meant for you, and this one was one of them. For day 16 of my 30-day art challenge, I wanted to draw something that I wanted to capture for years. The window from the first apartment me and my fiancé lived in. It was a converted school with massive windows overlooking the park, and honestly, it was still now one of my favorite places to live in. But what I did is I chose the worst possible medium for this memory: pen and ink. I felt like every stroke wasn't landing where it was supposed to be landing. I couldn't get the lines right, the perspective right, or the shading right. Everything felt overworked and chaotic. And honestly, I think you can see in the final result that I didn't enjoy this. And again, this is the reason why I'm doing this challenge, to find out if some mediums are meant for me and some mediums are not. And this is one of them where I didn't feel any connection towards. So yeah, pen and ink is officially not for me. If anyone wants a fresh pot of ink and a dip pen, please come and get it. After 2 days of intense precision-based art, I needed a break. So for day 17, I went for these abstract shapes and plans that I'm sure you've seen in a lot of different shops and homeware stores. It's the kind of style where nothing needs to be perfect. And honestly, I love this immediately because I made so many mistakes and you cannot even tell. I mixed loads of different mediums, which I really enjoy. Acrylic paint, acrylic pens, brush pens, black liners, white gel pens. Just throwing things on top of each other and seeing what happens. This style is super forgiving. If something looks off, just draw over it or pretend it was intentional. And the best part was that I felt really relaxed, which I hadn't felt in a couple of days. I'd absolutely love to do this again, especially on a bigger canvas. It's fun, colorful, and zero stress. I thought that printing a leaf on paper would be very easy, but it wasn't. For day 18 of my 30-day art challenge, I tried to do one of those plant printing that looks effortlessly cool online. I used mint leaves because I love their textures, it's very detailed, and I was sure that they would be the perfect leaves to print on paper. I decided to paint the background black to be able to show off the leaves in white, but when I printed it, it decided to give me a blurry blush of white. Not at all what the tutorials promised me. Mine looks like the ghost version of that print. But what surprised me is that even though it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out, I still kind of like it, and I really enjoy the shape that it took. It has character, even if that character is, I have no idea who I am. I definitely want to try this again on a different type of paper to see if it's me that's doing things wrong, or if it's the leaf that's wrong, or if it's the paint that's wrong, although we all know it's me that's wrong. This style requires good handwriting that I do not have. For day 19, I tried calligraphy with oil pastels. This style was inspired by Julia Ockert. She's an Australian pastel artist, and her pieces look buttery and perfect. Mine ended up looking like a distant cousin with structural challenges. And I think there's a few reasons for this. First, I have the writing of a 3-year-old who just discovered crayons. Second, I cannot judge height or space to save my life. And yes, I'm definitely blaming this bloody paper once again, but this watercolor paper leaves gaps everywhere, so this oil pastel wasn't able to fill everywhere. And I know a good craftsman should never blame their tools, but I have no shame and I am blaming my tools. And the quote is from Rupi Kaur's Homebody. If you haven't read this book, it's really beautiful. It's the shortest quote I could find because there's not much space on the paper. I wouldn't try this style again. It wasn't for me, but it makes me appreciate someone else's art so much more. Everyone has a flower that reminds them of someone or something. And for me, it's daisies. They remind me of my mother and my home. For day 20 of this 30-day art challenge, I decided to create something that really made me miss home. I tried this floral acrylic painting that I found by Gizem Bakurt Art. They paint these dreamy fields of flowers with depth and light, and I absolutely love their work. The idea is very simple. Dark background, the flowers in the back are a bit darker, the flowers in the front are a bit lighter. But what I didn't expect is how satisfying this piece was to make and how much I love the end result. Every summer in my house in Belgium, our garden fills with wild daisies, like a little white carpet, and this always is the first sign that summer has arrived. So painting them here really reminded me of my childhood, and this style did not stress me out at all. It was just so peaceful. And when you look at it from far away, this piece really comes alive. This is definitely one of my favorite pieces of this art challenge. If you're just joining, I'm trying 30 different art styles in 30 days. Some I really don't like, and some I absolutely fall in love with, like this one. If you've got a window cleaner and some paint at home, then you can make this art. For day 21 of my 30-day art challenge, I wanted to make this viral window cleaner swipe art. I wanted to keep it simple by just using a few colors, but getting the paint straight out of the tub in cute little dots, impossible. There is a reason why people use these precision bottles to make this type of art. Mine came out thick, lumpy, and really not elegant. I'm also pretty sure that the paint that they use is mixed with a little bit of water to make it glide much more smoothly. Even though I wasn't using the right tools, it still felt like it could be a print that I saw in a boutique shop somewhere. Maybe not, but maybe. I was kind of stressed out when I saw the paint coming out of the tub, but in the end it was super fun to make. Have you ever spelled the word potato with a potato? Well, I can say I have. For day 22 of this 30-day art challenge, I decided to make art with potatoes. I've been seeing people using veggies as stamps on clothing and paper, and I wanted to give it a try. And I recently saw a funny video of a guy asking another guy to spell potato. It became an inside joke between me and my partner. And so I decided, why not spell potato with a potato? To do this, you have to carve the letters backwards in the potato. You dry the surface, you dip the potato in the paint, and you press it on the paper. And honestly, this was really fun to do. And I'm sure that it's a very easy activity to do with children as well. And the final result reminds me of a moment that I found really funny. And now that it's made with a potato, it makes it even better. This challenge is teaching me that you can get joy out of small things like potatoes. This type of art teaches me to accept myself for who I am. For day 23 of this 30-day art challenge, I decided to make this texture art that I've seen online. I love being in the sea and I love the beach, and obviously scales remind me of fish reminds me of the sea, so I decided to go for different hues and blue tones. This kind of technique looks easy, and technically it is, but to do it well, that's a different story. I was a little clumsy and I kept forgetting to wipe my tool before doing the next color. Now the professionals that do this make it look luxurious, they make it look elegant, and this is more of a DIY version of it. I tried two different types of texture pastes. The first one was pre-made and it dried way too fast, and the second one I made myself with powdered paste mixed with water, and that was way better, even though it took over 24 hours to dry. It didn't turn out perfect, but once I added a frame, it looked much better, and I guess if anything, it has personality. I tried recreating this beautiful 3D minimalist art style, and I have no clue how the original artist does it. For episode 24 of my 30-day art challenge, I was inspired by an artist called Kenji Hoshi. It's got a simple base shape, and then these little floating elements that go above it that makes the art look 3D. So delusional me thought, how hard can that be? Turns out, impossible level hard. I tried first with paint, and I found that the shadows were definitely too harsh, so I thought a pencil could do better. Whilst painting the shadows, I realized that something doesn't feel right, and I'm still unsure of what that is. But I decided to keep it in this series because I wanted to show that sometimes it's okay not to figure things out, and that when you don't, maybe asking for help is the best solution. If you have any tips or any theories on how it's done, drop your wisdom in the comments. This piece of art was supposed to look like a candle, but my flatmate thought it was a Buddha statue. For episode 25 of my 30-day art challenge, I wanted to try this lino printing, and I immediately understood why this is quite a difficult art. When you're creating a lino print, you have to reverse your design, and you have to decide which parts you leave blank and which parts are going to be touched by the ink. This was really hard for my brain to understand. And at some point, whilst I was thinking I was carving out the right area, I was carving out the wrong area. So my design ended up taking a different shape that I hadn't anticipated. And then I discovered that you can't use acrylic paint for this because it doesn't stick to the print properly. Luckily, my fiance went through a mokuhanga phase, which is woodblock printing. In mokuhanga, they use this rice paste, which they paint on top of the wood, which makes the color stick to the wood. It's a bit imperfect and, to be honest, still quite charming for something that I kind of winged. What do you think? Do you see a candle or something else? This art took a couple of tries, but once I figured it out, it basically made itself. This is day 26 of my 30-day art challenge. I saw this artist called Jess Swan make these beautiful squiggly colored line on a colored background, and I love anything 3D and texture, so I had to try it. At first, I used already pre-mixed textured paste, which hardened really fast. It felt like I had to use both of my hands to squeeze this paste out of this bag. And because it wasn't flowy, I ended up having to restart 3 times. But luckily, I still had some joint filler in powdered format that I was able to mix with some water so that I could have a better consistency in the texture paste. Once I had the right paste, it basically had a life of its own. I tried to make an eye and I had some patterns in mind, but the texture paste thought, nah, let me do my thing. And honestly, I really love it. I think it was super fun to make. And it's the type of art that once you understand the material, it can be super meditative. At the beginning of this 30-day, 30 different art style series, I was heavily dissing the pen and ink style that I did. And I thought it would be such a waste not to find another use for this ink. This is day 27 of my 30-day art challenge. I came across this Turkish artist called Elif Zahim, who creates these geometrical organic abstract pieces using fluid dynamics. It's so beautiful, I had to try it. On those videos, it looks effortless once again. In real life, the water decides everything, and I think this piece shows it. When you add too much water, it floods out the rest of the ink. Too little, it leaves gaps of white. Half of the time, I had no idea where the ink was going to go travel. I was afraid to put my hand on the paper in case it would go up or down too much. But weirdly, I enjoyed seeing what was coming out of it. I understand why this artist does this because the patterns become really organic. For sure, I used too much water in different areas and not enough water in others, but I love the flow of this. This is the kind of art when you're not fully in control, and I think this teaches us a lot. I'm not sure if you've seen the art where people are gluing different types of objects to their canvases and painting them. And I wanted to try something similar. And so for day 28 of this 30-day art challenge, I decided to use macrame rope, glue it in the different types of patterns, and paint it in a military green. To make this type of art, I've seen artists use rope, fabric, cardboard, anything that would create a textured piece. And since I have enough craft supplies to own my own art studio, I went straight for my macrame rope. I love anything with squiggly lines, so making rope squiggles sounded like the most me thing I could do. Here's where I think I messed up. Instead of painting first and then gluing on top and painting on top, I decided to glue first and then paint everything afterwards. So the problem here is that first of all, I couldn't get really under the rope. It took me a couple of layers to do that. And then when I painted over the glue, it was leaving traces where you could obviously see where the glue had been. But whenever you fuck up, you just gotta stay persistent. For day 29 of this 30-day art challenge, I wanted to try more texture art. By this point in the series, I've discovered something really important about myself. If an art style feels like a massage for my brain, it probably involves some type of texture. So for this one, I went back to my childhood where we used to make face masks out of plaster bandages. I wanted to create this type of organic, drape-like textile texture. And honestly, it was super satisfying to do. The only catch is that usually when the original shape is created, you will add plaster on top so that the little gaps that you have in the bandages are filled with plaster. But as I'm doing this on paper, if I add plaster to it and with the wetness of the bandages, it would have flopped like a sad tortilla. I don't want to risk that. And as the paper was wet enough, I decided to leave it there. Even though the grid bandages are still showing, I still love this piece. And if you try this at home, definitely try it on a canvas so you can add more layers to it and you can sand it afterwards so you have a nice and smooth finish. I can't believe we've made it to day 30. For day 30 of my 30-day art challenge, I wanted to do something that was a bit more meaningful. A few weeks ago, I traveled to Taiwan and I went to a place called Jufen. It's this tiny mountain village that basically looks like the village that inspired Spirited Away, with a shit ton of tourists. I was using acrylic markers throughout this whole series to rescue me from some of the projects that I was doing. And I thought, why don't I try to do something with them? I made the same bloody mistake that I made over the whole series by using the wrong side of this paper and using the paper with the dents in it. So once again, it was impossible to have crisp lines because the holes made it like this. But honestly, it kind of feels like it was a perfect ending because this series was never about making anything perfect. It was about learning what I love, what stresses me out, what surprises me. 30 pieces later, I discovered so much about myself. Thank you so much for following along this whole month. And if you want to keep exploring creativity with me, hit follow because this might be the end of the challenge, but it's not the end of making things.